Baldwin, and you're watching Dirt Live.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We're joined by Cameron Steele. Cameron, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks, man. Just don't breathe on me. It sounds like you got the flu or something.
Well, a little bit of Parkeritis, I guess, whatever. But, hey, got a couple questions for you. The victory, was it sweet? What was it, man? The first race of the year, HDRA?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, for us, the Desert Assassins, we do it as a family, as a team. So the boys were super charged up. I mean, honestly, we got the word pretty late in December that this was all taking place, and we wanted to support Roger and his efforts. And of course, we wanted to do World Championship, and Monster and Yokohama were all on board, as well as our other sponsors. So we kind of, it's like turning a giant ship, and you got the race cars all ripped apart, and all of a sudden, hey, we're going racing in a couple weeks. The guys are just like, and it was Christmas holidays, right? No one really ever works that time of year. So it was a big effort from all the boys. So to go out and win was really cool, because everybody was just fired up, fresh season. We kind of had a little bit of a tough Baja 1000, even though we were running in the top 3 for a long time with Josh Daniel driving. We ended up losing a crank trigger, and so it was bittersweet. We had a good effort, but it was tough. But to come out and win the first race this season is really nice.
I mean, you've been trying for years, trophy truck. Now you got 2 of them. I know let's tell everybody the nickname of this one. This was the older truck.
The older truck is called the Cougar. Yeah, she's a bad Betty. She likes to, she looks sexy. And to be honest with you, a lot of people are like, why do you race that old truck sometimes? Like I had my choice 2 Baja 1000s ago, and I chose to race the old truck. And I just think it works phenomenal, and it's a carbureted engine, and I really believe in it. And it's really cool. She's got some gray, like we even powder coated the cage gray, because she's got some gray whiskers going on. But she's ready to do it. So I was really stoked to win in the older truck. Winning in the newer truck, everybody would have been like, yeah, of course, they bought a new geyser, it's good to go. But that's the first geyser, so putting a win under the belt was sweet.
Now, as a racer, we've all been there. The last lap, last 10 miles, was that tough?
You know what? It was interesting. We had good radio, so we knew where BJ was. On the 3rd lap, we really got flogging it. We had a little problem in the pits, actually. We had Vince and those guys from Pressure Pro fueling us, and it went so good. They were done fueling in less than 18 seconds. But we had a gun, not a gun, but the lug, the socket broke. And so we had a little bit of a snafu in the pit. So BJ was a little closer than we wanted him to be on the 3rd lap. But on that last lap, I know exactly what you're saying. It's like anytime you're coming in, winning a race, you're like, I hear this, I hear that. And I could feel like, I'm like, do you hear that? I was asking Turbo Tom, my navigator. And he's all, it's good, man, just drive it in. And we knew we had like 8 minutes on the next truck. So we still went hard, because I figure if you slow down too much, you're going to end up doing something stupid. But a little bit of a funny story, or ironic story, that most people don't know is we went out testing 2 days later and actually blew up the engine in 8 miles. So 8 miles after the finish line, we grenaded that engine, and it only had about 500 miles on it. So we're still trying to figure out what went wrong, but it was sweet to know we finished the race and got the win, and it was kind of crazy to go out and have that problem right after.
Now, you didn't really get a lot of time to celebrate, because you had to leave for the score awards that night.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic. When we won the Baja 1000 in 2003, I had to get right out of the race car and into a truck, and I went and hosted the AMA Awards banquet back when I was doing Supercross and Motocross. And this time, got out of the truck, kind of high-fived the team, and this time I didn't leave in my driving suit. Last time I left in my driving suit in 2003, but yeah, I went and did the score awards, and I thought it was important to do. Originally, I wasn't going to do them, but once I started finding out, that Roger was taking over score and that Sal was retiring, score is like family to me. My dad first took us to the races in '71, and I rode shotgun in my first race in 1982 and drove for the first time in '85. So I've been doing this a long time, and Sal was there the whole time that I was doing that. So it became really important for me to be there. Sal asked me to come and do it, and I did it with Jim Riley, and it was really great. And I think emotionally it was great to be there and see the changing of the guard, seeing Roger taking the torch, and it's one of those moments in history for us. I mean, we're off-road racers, so that's like kind of this huge turning point. And then the next morning I was invited by Frank D'Angelo, who obviously is a big part of the off-road racing community, and hosted Sal's retirement breakfast. So that was really cool. It wasn't really a retirement breakfast. Sal was kind of pissed that I called it that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was his new career breakfast. But that was really great as well.
Well, you know, like that, you kind of talked about a couple of the questions I was going to ask about. We might as well get into it. When you heard that Roger bought Score, what did you think?
Well, I was totally surprised. You know, I haven't really said this, but you know, a couple times over the years, I've voiced my feelings that I would like to be a part of Score's future. And I know Roger and Sal and everybody kept it really hush hush. And you know, you started hearing these rumors about Roger, and then I started hearing some rumors about Robby Gordon too. And I was like, damn, I kind of feel like I'm like in this twilight zone all of a sudden. But then once I found out it was Roger, I knew that Roger had lived it on both. You know, he really had lived off-road racing, and I think I had the experience of racing with him at HDRA already, because we made that choice to go to Reno and support him. And so I'd already seen the way he was passionate about it, so I felt really good about it. And I'm looking forward to a big future with Score. You know, whether it's the television or the changes that Roger's going to do. I'm excited about the course changes I'm hearing in San Felipe and some of his outside of the box thinking. So I think it's good all around for the sport, and I support it. That's why, like I said, when Roger announced HDRA, I went to the Reno race, and we went to the Reno race, and when they announced World Championship, we were right on it.
Well, I know at least you'll have a little bit of experience coming back to Reno this year.
I think it's going to be a big advantage. Reno's a tough race. I don't think people really understand. I mean, they think when they hear Reno, they think Vegas to Reno, but I don't think that Vegas to Reno has really raced in that close to Reno in a lot of years. This is some tough terrain, and Roger carved some really tough trails out up there, and I think that it's going to be interesting when you put a lot of trophy trucks on there. So we're looking forward to seeing how it goes. But his facility there, I think, has a lot of merit. You can see a ton of the race course right in front of all the viewing area where you can park. I think he said like 400 motorhomes, and Monster had their big stage and stuff. You can see the whole qualifying. There's a lot of cool aspects to it. I'm cautiously optimistic about having a little bit of inside information before we go there.
Right. Hell Week, you just got back.
Hell Ride.
Hell Ride. Tell a little bit about that.
Hell Ride's one of the organized rides I do each year. I do like 5 different rides with my crew, my boys, the Desert Assassins, and some of the rides I work with other people as well. This one is one that has no media, and it's just like straight kind of single track, tough trails. We're really honored this time to have Jimmy Sones come with us. Not a lot of people know who Jimmy is, but he's a Baja legend. He's built a huge number of the trails that are down there. So Jimmy came and rode with us along with Chili White, and of course my boy Lobster was with us, and a lot of other great motorcycle talent. And we just really were blessed. It rained, and we had like perfect watered trails. I mean, I can't really explain to people, because they only see race courses. The people that we're really talking to, 4% of the people watching the show have ever even seen one of the single tracks that Bill Nickel or Jimmy Sones or Tim Morton or Malcolm Smith have made. But we woke up in LA Bay, it rained all night, woke up to bluebird conditions, and rode 70 miles of single track that had just been watered the night before. And it really doesn't get much better than that.
You make me jealous, I miss that.
It's great. It's great fun, and the camaraderie is what it's all about for me.
What's your favorite place to ride down there? I mean, you're up and down the peninsula. Whereabouts? A favorite area?
Well, I really think that the best trails, and some of the best riding exist, really between El Rosario and Bay of LA. And part of the reason is I think because it's so desolate, and I think that Bill and Jimmy and others, Malcolm, have really taken time to build a really interesting set of trails, and it really is so beautiful and untouched. You leave El Rosario, I always say you're jumping into the Never Never. There's no cell service. There's no services at all. I say it and it's kind of cliche, but the only people that are there to help us are us, and so you got to be smart about what you're doing. But that coast, including Punta San Carlos, where the solo surf camp is, and the Seven Sisters on the Pacific side, there's nothing. I can't even explain to you how nothing there is. People race the Baja 1000 and they think it's really desolate, but in some of these areas, which I think Roger's going to end up going back to, we haven't been to some of these areas in a while, But it really is remote, and it's just a beautiful place. So when you ask me my favorite trail is the Window Rock Trail, and probably my favorite tacos in Baja are Las Brisas in Ensenada. Norma there does a great job. We always try to take our trips and our buddies there. We're actually going to FMF Baja Bonanzas this week. Kurt Caselli, who's here tonight too, he'll be on the ride, and we're going to be like 75 deep. Tim Morton, Baja Balmoto is a big part of that as well. So Travis Clark, myself, and Little Donnie came up with the idea years ago to share Baja with people in the supercross industry who never get to see it. So it's been really great.
And are you ever at home?
I'm at home. I've been watching my daughter grow up, Cameron Kay, and she's 10 months old now. I do feel guilty that I'm gone quite a bit, but on the flip side of that, my job is racing off-road cars and riding dirt bikes, or adventure dirt bikes, and making TV. So what looks like I'm gone all the time to people, because they don't really understand, they don't get to travel. They don't accommodate themselves to go out and travel. But when they're at home working or sitting at the desk or whatever it is they do, I'm home with my daughter, and I'm working on marketing ideas or working with sponsors and hanging out with my wife. We're full-time racers now. Heidi doesn't have a regular job. She hasn't had one in over a year now. So I'm just blessed with a wife that loves off-road racing and has built the skill to be able to be sponsored, and we can pay our bills by racing cars, and it's growing every day. So I don't have a traditional job, so I get to spend a little bit extra time with my daughter. I mean, some people don't see their kids while they're awake in the middle of the day. I'll see her for 10 days straight, all day, every day type thing,
What, your dog Booger.
Booger is important.
How does he get along with the little one?
Booger, at first I think was a little unsure about Junior, and then Booger has warmed up to Junior and is keeping an eye on her, licking her, kissing her. She's warmed up to the baby, but it's gotten to the point now where, Booger, when Booger doesn't want to be bothered because the baby started crawling about 2 months ago, Booger jumps up on the couch and stuff, and Booger has had some neck surgery and some discs in her back, some problems, been paralyzed. But she gets up on the couches, but now the baby can stand up and grab Booger on the couches, so Booger's trying to figure out her next move on how to escape.
So this year, 2000, what do you got going? Both you guys racing?
Yeah, Heidi and I are both going to race. I mean, that's the goal, full-time racers. We haven't announced exactly what Heidi's going to do yet, but all the trucks are getting prepped in the shop. We're actually going to announce next week Heidi's plans, and we've been working hard. The 6 truck has been great for her. She's I think she's 5 championships deep now, between Score and Best in the Desert, and a couple Class 6 championships. So we really love Class 6 and the mid-size unlimited truck class and the trophy truck. So there's a lot of work going into our future plans, and I think next week's going to be really exciting for Heidi, but that's something she's going to have to figure out how she wants to put it out there when it comes time.
Now, we talked a little earlier about, you're a bike guy kind of too, so you kind of have a lot of love for the bikes. What about Roger's idea on Friday, the bikes, day before?
I think there's a lot of merit to it. I mean, there's a couple things that people don't really think about. Everybody says start the bikes later, and Sal at one point told me, hey, you need as much daylight for possible rescues or help as possible, so that gave me an understanding why not to start the bikes at a different time. And the same thing kind of goes for the one thing that the bikes might miss, or safety factor, is that all the trophy truck teams do have helicopter, or a lot of the trophy truck teams, not my trophy truck team, but they have helicopters and they have safety people in there. So I think that's an added safety net for some of the motorcycle riders as well. But I think Friday's a good thing for the moto guys. I think it would probably bring more riders, because there's probably a fair amount of people that don't want to race in front of the trophy trucks. And frankly, I don't want to follow the bikes, and I do ride bikes all the time, and I have a little bit of a low tolerance for people that aren't really paying attention to their own safety. And sometimes I really think that some of the bike guys they shouldn't be out there. I mean, I posted it on Race Desert and stuff. If your training consists of cheeseburgers and cigarettes, and you're going to sit down the whole way through the Baja 1000, then I think you should probably rethink what you're doing, because you're starting on a dirt bike only a few hours ahead of 70 unlimited cars when you start talking about the trophy trucks and Class 1s. And I think what happens is some of the riders get tired, and they're not really paying attention to what they're doing, and all these guys want to solo the Baja 1000. Well, they don't even go down and pre-run, So I'm not casting dispersions against them. I think they should all have their chance to race, which is what Sal always said. But I think they really got to think about what they're doing and think about the safety aspect of it. So anyway, it's a little bit of a sore subject for me because I think it's really important to be very prepared, bike riders specifically. And I think sometimes they're kind of winging it. I think that's kind of the tradition of a motorcycle rider, is kind of like they're freewheeling, going for it. But at the same time, I'm a dirt bike rider, so I feel comfortable saying that I wish they were a little bit more prepared.
Now, your favorite race, Loop, La Paz, all the way to La Paz, Cabo.
Yeah.
What race?
Well, the budget likes the Loop a little bit better, but I like the Peninsula Run. I think that, the people that spend a lot of time down there probably will agree with me that the bottom half of the peninsula is really beautiful, and there's a lot of attributes to it. Getting to see the top and bottom are great. If I had it my way, I would like to see us race to Cabo, more often, and maybe alternate between Cabo and La Paz, but that's not my business. But I would like to race to Cabo some and to La Paz as well, but I think the Loop also has a place in this Baja 1000. It's part of the history of the sport, and I also think that if you did a Peninsula Run, you would make it at times impossible for teams to keep coming year after year. But on the flip side, if you did a Peninsula Run every year, you may get more media, and you may get more sponsors, and you may get more other athletes that don't want to compete on the Loop. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but for me, I prefer the Peninsula Run.
Well, we've had a great time here with you tonight, Cameron. Shared a lot of great information. You're definitely a great victory there at the HDRA race. We got the photo of the week. The number 2 is Arciero Soloer. Check of Ojo Negro. Jump. Look at that, Cameron.
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people. Ojos Negros is an awesome place. Definitely worth talking a little bit about. Cliff Matlock actually passed away outside of Ojos Negros this last week in an accident. So I just wanted to mention that, while we're looking at Ojos Negros photo, that, the whole community of desert racers is thinking about Wayne Matlock and their entire family, and, the tragedy this week. Cliff was a guy, I didn't know him really well, but he definitely had a passion for the Baja and sharing it. So we respect that a lot, and really sorry to hear about his passing.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. He was always there for Wayne, every finish. Well, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be live here with Kurt Caselli. Cameron, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to hang around and listen to Kurt talk because he's a bad dude.
All right. We'll be right back with Kurt Caselli.